One was basically touching on pricing foundations, what you need to have in mind when setting your pricing. And I think two of you that joined this evening, I feel like it's like a good pair, because one of the main reasons why we created this group is not just for us to just do only education, but for like you guys to bounce off each other, share knowledge, share experiences, support each other on the group and all of that, especially when it comes to handling your businesses. So on one hand, we have Yewande Braids. Please correct me if I didn't pronounce your name correctly. And she does have a salon in Manchester. And on the other hand, we have a new member who is trying to set up her salon. So I feel like it's a really good experience to start with. I think Ade is having the other hairstylist that just joined and dropped off again. She's dropped off twice previously, so I think she's having network issues. But since both of you are here, we're just going to now skip the bit of interaction in the beginning, because what I was going to ask was about last week's session's task. So after the session, after discussing, after the education, after the learning, we'll sort of give like a task, like a practical knowledge based task that you can go and implement in your business. And then the next week, before we start a new session, we basically have a conversation about how it went, how you were able to implement it, what you learned, what you felt you had to implement differently, because no two businesses are the same. Even as we are all like in the hair styling industry, the business model of a mobile hair salon or hairdressing service is different from how a hair salon operates, and it's different from how a hairstylist that operates as services from home operates as well. So that's basically why we do the sessions, so that we can all learn off each other, but also know that we're all operating different businesses. I do apologize for the background sound. I'm around family, so please, if it's too noisy, let me know, and I'm ready to go and stand outside for this session. So last week we talked about like the foundational knowledge of pricing strategies, because one of the most popular things I've noticed is a lot of people don't know why they set certain prices for their services, especially when it comes to hairstyling. They just think either they compare, or they think, oh, this is the price range. But when you ask, why is it the price range for your business, they don't have a specific answer. Of course, in industry insights, market ranges affect these things, but you also have to think as a business owner. Yeah. So on today's class, we're basically moving on to the next subsequent class, which we're talking about knowing your numbers as a business owner. Hello, B. Welcome. So knowing your numbers as a business owner. A little thing to touch on, the previous class we had, I just recorded it this evening. So I've just re-recorded it. So it's going to be available. We're hosting all our classes on a virtual platform. So you can just go and watch, listen to the audio while you're working or when you're relaxing. It's stuff that you can do while you're doing your work, really. And the only thing is you might need to take 1 or 2 notes, which you can take on your phone. But yes, so all the previous classes, from client retention secrets that we've listed, practical tips, to pricing 101, and then establishing your hair salon, like the structural needs you need to set up from scratch. We have those recorded so far. So the next one that will be recorded is this one. So every single training we're doing for you guys is going to be recorded. You will have access to the replay and to go and access those previous knowledge in case you want to refresh what you're learning. So today we're going to talk about knowing your numbers, because I feel like any business you're doing, the foundation of the business is money. You need money to come out of that business, except if you're doing charity, right? So from this class, your learning outcome will be very succinct. We're going to talk about understanding the difference between your revenue, your profit, and your cash flow in your business. Setting realistic monthly income targets for your business, and then separating your personal salary from your business revenue. Also, being able to understand why tax and emergency savings should be planned. You should plan for your tax even before it's tax payment period or time for you to file your taxes or report to HMRC. You should have like an account, a separate account or a savings pot where you put away money for tax. Because I've seen a lot of hairstylists that when HMRC came knocking, they were in shock. Because they will just bring the tax bill for you and you'll be like, what's going on? I do apologize for the background noise again. I apologize. So when you see the tax bill, you'll be like, when did I make this money that I'm paying this tax? But that's because you didn't make any contingency plan that in the event that this happens, I have some money to pay off this tax. And then basically calculate like your revenue for your business in order for you to set your prices. Some of the things we're touching on in this class, we've talked about it in the previous one, which we just talked about it lightly, right? So what I want you to like answer to yourself, if you want to unmute and answer it in this call, that would be absolutely lovely, right? But if I was to ask you right now how much your business needs to make in the next month for your business to stay healthy or to keep operating sustainably, yeah? Can you answer me like in under 1 minute how much your business needs in the next 1 month? Does anybody want to be the taker? Okay, so no one has opted to answer. So I'm just going to move on to say, okay, so a lot of hairstylists know how much they charge for their different services, but they don't know why or how much they charge their business should generate. They don't know how much their business should generate every month in order for their business to survive. So you end up operating as this basically like a sole trader. Yewande, did you want to say something?
Oh, no, sorry. I don't know why. I just got cut off, so I joined back in.
Okay, no worries. I think WhatsApp is a bit funny today.
The network isn't great today.
Yeah. So basically what I was talking about is a lot of people don't operate their hairstyling businesses as like a business. They think of themselves as part of the business, which is why they don't think in terms of numbers, okay? So knowing your prices isn't the same as knowing your business. You need to know, okay, I'm building this because I want to attain this by this time next year. Like if you're looking at any other business in any other industry, they set targets. Okay, I want to achieve this by this time in order for my business to grow by this amount of, this percentage in order for me to expand or scale or grow. But what you find in our industry, especially because we've been operating on an informal basis, is that people just show up, do hair, go home. They don't actually sit down and wonder, what's the financial aspect of this? What am I falling short of? And a lot of people don't really think about it from the money place, because some people don't like numbers. People find numbers intimidating. Okay, so in the previous class, I talked about how revenue is different from your profits versus your cash flow. Okay, and a lot of people confuse these three. So revenue, let me talk about revenue again. Revenue is the total money your business receives before any business expenditure. Before you deduct your costs, before you deduct your payment as a business owner or as somebody that is working in the business, maybe if you have team members, if you have staff, before you deduct your bills. Revenue is like everything. So, for example, if in a month you've had 40 appointments, you served 40 clients and you charged each of them, this is like a blanket statement, okay? This is a blanket. Sorry, apologies again for the background noise. I'm with family today, so yeah. If you've charged each of them £100, for the 40 appointments, your business revenue is automatically £4,000. Now, I understand that as hairstylists, we don't always have the time to sit down and start calculating manually, which is why I always say, when we're living in the technology era, we're living in, I think we're operating our businesses in the best time to own businesses in the globe. As at 10, 20, 50, 30, 50 years ago, they didn't have the access to resources that we have now. Yeah, where okay, you now have like a platform that handles this, a platform that handles your follow-up. I was at home one day and I got a call, and I picked the call thinking I was speaking to a human being. It was a business that their AI called me to have a conversation with me. I was in awe. My surprise was a good type of surprise, because I'm like, in the past, in the days of parents and grandparents, they would have to manually do things by themselves, sit down with pen and paper, calculate, use stones. We have the technology to support us, and we're still operating as if we are aunties that are braiding hair, doing hair salon from years ago. Okay, so I want us to start looking at how can we systemize our business in such a way that these things are automated. Okay, so you're not the bread and butter for your business. You're just now overseeing what is happening in your business. Think about the bookings platform you're using. Think about your bookkeeping system. Okay, I can recommend a very good bookkeeping system for you. Think about how you're tracking your clients' retention rates. Think about your analytics. How are you actually tracking your business growth? How are you tracking the best service that gives your money-making service? Every business has the money maker. Every single business. If you go and research Greg's, we all know Greg's in the UK, yeah? If you go and research Greg's and go and check which of their products is the money maker, you'll see it. Every other thing they're selling still makes them money, but there's the one that gives them 3, 4, 5x the money that others are making them. As a business owner, you should know this. You should know your money maker. Now moving on to profit. Your profit is the money that remains after paying all your business expenses. Now granted, when you first start, of course, you have to make a lot of expenditure. So also still track those expenditures you made in the beginning, because your business will still pay you back. You basically gave your business a loan. Your business is a separate entity from you. Okay? So whenever you're investing, you're setting up your business, you're basically loaning to a legal entity money to set itself up. Well, you're now the operator of the business, so you're setting it up, but the business owes you. And then your profit is the money that remains after you've taken all the expenses from the revenue that you generated that month. So let's give an example, yeah? If you generate the revenue example I gave earlier, where you generated £4,000, and in the month, if you compile your council tax, your bin disposal, your this, your that, maybe you pay yourself as the only staff in the business, right? You pay your cleaner, you do the laundry costs. If you have a salon, which means you now have laundry costs, washing towels and all of that, then all of this expenditure eats up 2,000 to 2,500. Let's leave it at 2,500. So the profit your business has made is 1,500. Now from that 1,500, you will not go and just keep the whole 1,500 as your business profit though. You still bring out contingency tax money. Have a separate business account. So they are on what's it called? There's Metal from NatWest. There are virtual platforms that you can register the business account aside from like High Street Bank, and to be separate, because I know HMRC does not have a way to separate like the whole tax pot, but NatWest does. So have like a way to separate your business banking so you can keep money for tax just in case. Then the rest of it, you can now either give yourself a bonus from part of the profit and reinvest the rest. Now let's talk about cash flow, yeah? When you come to cash flow is a different ball game altogether. Cash flow is liquid cash you have in order to operate your business over a period of time. Okay? So basically you ask yourself, cash flow is basically, do I have enough money to pay my bills when they are due? Because let's be realistic. Let's say your council tax is due by the end of the month, and your monthly target or your monthly cycle of when you're calculating your business is 15th. So before the 15th, you've not really released money, all the going up and down, or maybe you've not gotten enough clients to cover those bills that are compiling by the end of that month. You need to ask yourself, what's your business cash flow? Do you have any cash pots in your business. I say, okay, I have money to cover things till the rest of this revenue comes through. Okay, that's basically how profitable businesses work. So profitable businesses, even when you say a business is profitable, they can still have cash flow problems though. Like if the money does not arrive when the expenditure is needed, the business has a cash flow problem, So managing cash flow is just as important as making profits. These are the two separate things. I hope you guys are taking notes. I'm more a business person, so that's why I'm taking these classes. When it comes to a lot more in-depth stuff in the hairstyling, we'll start doing live sessions, live classes, and live webinars with more people coming on. So you ask yourself today, if you ask yourself, how much cash flow do I have in my business? That, okay, even if before I get 2-3 more clients, okay, if you have a target of having 40 clients in a month, and you just had so far 10, before the rest are coming, do I have cash flow that, okay, if by the 15th, today is 15th, sorry, if by the 17th a bill comes up, I can clear that bill before I meet up my target of getting the clients. Don't worry, I'll still send the client retention and attraction webinar to the group. I know one of the biggest anxiety points for hairstylists is, how do I get new clients? I personally do not believe in the new client saga, because you keep chasing your tail. Okay, most businesses that you see that have stood for hundreds of years, this is literal. You go and check it. Most times is word of mouth that brings in new clients for them, and that word of mouth comes from their client retention system. But anyways, that's not part of this class. I'm just going to send it, but I know that's something that might have come into people's mind when I said clients. Okay, so what I'll ask you guys to do, just evaluate the option I'm going to give you. Would you rather be business A? You have a revenue of £10,000 and your profit is just £800. Or business B, you have a revenue of £6,000 and your profit is just £2,500. So most people focus on revenue, which is important because you need money to come in. I will never, ever, ever say limit yourself. Okay? But also, let's focus on profit. And I'm going to say, one of the things I'm going to say in this is exactly why you need to know your business money maker. So when we're doing the first few webinars, live webinars we were doing before we launched KB Matrix, this was last year, May, we brought on Emiola. Emiola is an award-winning hairstylist from BBC, global, UK recognized, internationally recognized as well. And she came on the live session, and she talked about niching down. Now, why she talked about niching down was she explained her reason. It may not work for everybody, which is why you have to evaluate what works for your business. All of this is knowledge, You now take the knowledge, and as the person operating the business, you do the work, you do the research, you do trial and error. There's no business that they start and automatically success. So you might try one thing, it doesn't work for you as much as it's working for the others. So you decide, okay, I'm going to try it this way instead. So Emiola talked about knowing the money maker in her business. And what was the money maker in her business? When knotless braids started becoming a rave, she went and she paid, I think she said she paid £500 to learn how to make crisp knotless braids. So she could braid, she could do different braiding styles and all of that, but she wanted like her finishing of the braids to be beautiful, like to be above what other people see on social media and like, oh, okay, this is just another knotless braids. And when she got it, that was now the product, that was basically the service. That's the service she marketed a lot more. That service she put out there a lot more. And that was her key money maker. So let's say in a month, because she had a team, so there were 3 in her salon suite. And let's say in a month she had 60, 65, 70 clients. She said more than 50% of them came for that knotless braids. And here's why they came, here's why it was her money maker. The price of the knotless braids was above 120, I think, right? Or so. So when you calculate it times that amount of people, compared to if you are doing cornrows of £20 times 15 people. Do you understand? Not that you shouldn't do the cornrows, but be cognitive of what service brings you money. in order for you to know which one gives you more profit. In the previous in the pricing strategy 101 class, which I'll be releasing to you guys once it's uploaded as well, I also talked about how you can have two separate services that take the same amount of time. The same, relatively in the range, the same amount of time, but one is making you money and the other one is costing your business money. Which is why you really need to sit and observe. Like, take yourself out of your business in terms of, oh my God, how much you love the hair and how much you love what you are doing. Assess your business. Okay, this knotless braids, we've spent how much time doing this? It brought in £20, £25 extra more than this other type of braids, or more than this Fulani braids or something. But they take about the same time. So which means this service is bringing in more money, but the two of them take about the same time, and one costs £20 less. Okay, so how do I get in more clients that want this one that costs more, into my business this next month, in order for me to hit my revenue target a lot faster and have more profit in my business? Which means you can now, when you now have more profit, you can now have a lot more free cash that is not doing anything, that you have as your cash flow. Not that you should use all the profit as your cash flow. Like I've said, I will always sing it from the mountaintop. Have a savings pot for your tax. The day HMRC comes, it will be as if they are holding your neck and you will not like it. A lot of people go into debt because they are clearing up tax bills. Of course, let me also say, tax is not, because I'm a lawyer as well, right? UK trained. So let me just say this. Tax is on your profit though, and not on your revenue. I know a lot of people get anxiety. A lot of people feel like if they make a lot more money in their business, then they will have to tax. They have to pay more tax. That's not how it works. So tax is your profit. What they tax is your profit. So if you have a lot more expenditure and your profit is £50, is that £50 that is going to get taxed? I'm just putting it out there so you have full knowledge of that. Okay? Then, so as a business owner, you need to have a business target. Do you understand? Okay. Take yourself out of your business for a second. How much do you cannot do business by accident. I don't think there's any. For those of us that are Nigerian, we know Tony Elumelu, we know certain people in the business space, that are business magnets in their different industries, right? None of them became billionaires by accident. It's almost nearly impossible for that to happen, right? You have to work with a target. Not that you will start from day one and hit all the magnanimous targets. So you can start small. Okay, this week I just want to get 5 clients. I want to get 5 clients in the door. Next week I want to increase that 5 to 10. Now, how you're increasing that 5 to 10 is by client retention. I always say this: if you use ads, if you want to use ads and be operating as a beauty service provider, whether hair, lashes, anything you are doing, your business profit, you will finish it on ads. Especially with the way algorithm now works on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Oh my God, the ads cost is a lot higher, and you are reaching less people. Because a lot more competitive. These tech magnets have found a way to hook all of us, and we don't like it. But anyways, we'll survive. So you need to learn how to use your clients to become your client attraction system. So they bring in more clients for you. So I'm still going to send that client retention thing on the group. I keep coming back to this. I'm sorry. Let me focus on the pricing class, okay? So you need to hit your financial targets. So imagine at the last day of the month, what would imagine that, okay, this is the 30th of July. I think July is 30 days or 31 days. And think about how much you have, or how much you would have gotten in your business in terms of revenue, right? For you to feel financially secure, to feel like, okay, you can pay yourself from the business, and then you can pay your bills from the business. There's no correct answer. You write something down now. Tomorrow it can change, but have something written down. That number becomes part of your salary goal. Not just your business revenue, it also becomes part of your salary goal. How much do you want to pay yourself a month? Write it down as well. Now I want you to understand that your salary is not your revenue, which is why I say this. A lot of hairstylists operate as if they are their business. right? And it's okay if you're operating your business as a sole trader, but if you're registered as a limited company, you are separate from your business, right? Which means your business pays you. So you don't have to have that confusion element to it. Your business earns revenue. Your business pays the expenditure of the business, expenses, bills, all of that goes into expenditure, and then your business pays you. So as the owner, your salary is part of your business's cost. That's part of your business's expenditure. So when you're checking what is your business expenditure, add your salary, add the bills, add council tax, add bin, add heating, add electricity, add Wi-Fi. Your salary is part of it. So if you wanted to earn, let's say, if you want your salary to be £3,000 a month, your business does not need to generate revenue of only £3,000. No, your business needs to generate much more in order for it to pay you that £3,000 and still have money to pay operational costs. I know this may seem like stuff that we know it now, it's common sense, we know. But when it now comes to the applicability of now applying it in the business, that's when you realize, oh my God, I've not been thinking about this. I've just been winging it from today to tomorrow and just figuring out, God will make my business grow. When you're not being strategic, when you're not being intentional about these different things. So you need to understand your business expenditure. So I feel like every one of us, whether you already have this list or you're still developing the list, because a lot of people are still starting small or have started or are in 2-3 years of their business at this point, right? If you're developing a list for your business, you should have at least the basics. In the previous class, which I already recorded it today, so it should be released to you guys very soon, I talked about the cost of running your business. So your business overhead, the cost and then I talked about the hidden costs as well. So write down the fixed expenses your business has, whether you have your own rent, or whether you're renting a chair in a salon, or whether your business is paying part of your rent if you're working from home, your business insurance, Wi-Fi, booking software, website cost. If you have a website, then you have domain cost as well, phone bill, business subscriptions, all of that. Write it down. Okay, then write down your other expenses, like if you have to buy extensions, let's say you also supply extensions, and then you also have to use styling products, so mousse, hairspray, curling gel, gloves, laundry, all those other things go into your business expenses as well. So you make a table. After this class, I'm going to make it very easy for you guys, because I already have a template for all of this. So you will now just edit to your specific needs, or in terms of your business expenditure. And that way you can track how much you're spending in your business month to month. When you track for about 3 months, then you find an average, right? You find an average of, this is my business monthly expenditure. Let's say if you buy hair products by the beginning of the month, or even when you buy hair products, right, you write it down, whatever dates. When it's finished, you write it down. So okay, I bought hair products worth 60, 70, 80 pounds, and it finished in 28 days. So you now know this is part of the expenditure. This is the period this product lasts, okay? You're able to track it. And this will also help you when you're fixing your prices or for your clients. So because you've used that for 28 days. How many clients did you use that product for 28 days? All of that, we're still going to go back to that. But anyways, I want you guys to start tracking a lot more, because this class is focused on understanding your numbers. If you don't understand your numbers as a business owner, you are running, I don't know what to call it, but you are showing up every day and you're showing out. That's the best way to put it, and you're hoping for the best. And sometimes people figure it out, and sometimes people remain in the same place for so many years, which is why I was speaking to a lady. She has a salon in Barking, London, and after speaking to her, I would say when I dropped the call, I just paused, I spaced for 5 to 10 minutes, because the conversation caused me so much emotional pain. So she was telling me how she has been braiding for 25 years in the UK, and that she was coming back from the hospital, and that the doctor has just told her she has arthritis. She has this, she has arthritis in her hands and in her legs. and although she cannot close her salon now because that's her only, so she needs to keep that salon open. She has this, she doesn't even know where to start. So after listening to her, I then asked her a simple question. Okay, for the period of time your business has been operating, does your business provide you with health insurance, or at least do you have a pension? Let's say if worst case scenario, you can no longer work. Yeah, not that you will not get some sort of benefit from the government, but we all know, except if you want to reduce your quality of life and all that, benefits is dependent on your level of disability. We know that's how the UK works. So do you have like some contingents, like what do you have from your business that you can fall back on? And she told me nothing. Hey, you know when it's as if you feel some sort of electricity in your head. You've been operating this business for 25 years. 25 years is a whole young adult and more. Okay? 25 years is somebody that is in mid-20s. If you were to convert that to a human being's age, and she had nothing. Because she was operating it without knowing her numbers. She didn't have anything. She didn't have a pension. She didn't have any health insurance. She didn't have even life insurance from the business. That, some life insurance, they come and support you, or if anything happens and you have little kids, at least your life insurance pays out, from your business, and your family is able to survive without you. None of that, because she wasn't thinking about it. If you check most corporate roles, they have, and this is your business, you're in corporate role, as far as I'm concerned. Leave that TikTok are belittling what you're doing. Leave that TikTok people don't see it as a professional business or professional thing. You're seeing how you carry your business is how people will follow you. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, you're equal to those people that are dressing up to go to the corporate roles in London. Okay, you're working in a company. Your business is your company. You're working in a company. You're a corporate girl. You're a corporate man. If you're a man, So these are things you need to think about. What benefits when somebody is working in a corporate role that is not theirs? They get job benefits. What benefits does your business give you? Okay, so many businesses, many people get caught out just focusing on today's bill, but a healthy business, a business that you want to strive and you want to grow, has to plan for tomorrow. Okay, so let me give you an example. Let me also touch on taxes, because I keep coming back to taxes because I know the legal liabilities of not having a plan for your taxes. If you owe taxes in like the UK, yeah, don't wait until your bill arrives. So set out a percentage of income regularly, because if you don't set it out, it will come as a financial shock. And tax obligations should be treated as one of the most important things, because in the UK you can go to jail if you don't pay your taxes. Like HMRC can actually legally prosecute you, and if they ask you to pay your taxes that you owe, and they can even include fine, okay, and you can't pay it, the next cause is jail. So we don't want that to be happening. So set out a monthly, if you're at that point where your business is hitting profitability, even if you're not sure yet, because I'm gonna bring somebody that is we're gonna do like a live class. I think that's gonna be better. That live class is gonna be, you people will not hear my voice at all. So it's going to be you guys throwing questions at her. She's going to be calculating and letting you know. She's going to be coming from an accountancy perspective. That's going to cost KB Matrix, some bucks. But we have to do it because we need you guys to be prospering in your businesses, right? So she's going to come and support you guys with it. But it's not for the next couple of weeks, because we already have classes lined up and a few webinars coming up for the next couple of weeks as well. Then you also have to have a business emergency fund. So remember, write down the pots you need to have. Aside from your regular business account, you need to have a tax pot. Then you need to have an emergency fund. Why do you need to have an emergency fund? Let's say you come to work and you're working and your hair dryer, the Dyson hair dryer, or if you're using a regular one, if you're using the Dyson one, you know how much Dyson hair dryers cost, right? And all of a sudden it stops working. So you can't continue your business without having a hairdryer if you own a salon now. We know that's how it works. So if you don't have some sort of cash flow, if you don't have an emergency fund for your business, then you're literally now stuck and stranded. And feeling stranded is not a good thing. Also, from that your cash flow, from that your profits, this is money that you're going to set out from your profits, your taxes, your emergency fund. And what is included in your emergency fund? Money that could go into your sick pay. Your sick, because some of us, we fall sick, we're not machines. The same way, whether you're working in a care home, whether you're working in a corporate role, whichever one, if you fall sick, your business has we'll pay you half of the day's pay for the next 1 week of when you fall sick. You should have whatever policy or framework you want to have for your own hair salon. It's a company, okay? So you should have an emergency fund for when you fall sick. I know that a lot of people have not reached that revenue point that they want to get for them to have all this spare cash, but best believe it's going to happen. And if you don't have the foundational knowledge or the foundational structure, when it happens, you'll be confused. You'll be confused what to use the money to do. So you just keep everything as profits, and then HMRC will now come and swallow the one that they will swallow. And then you now realize you don't have a lot of cash flow from that profit that you've kept because you did not plan all these extras. Okay, so you have sick leave pot or something, emergency reserve for your business. So that's your emergency cash flow runway that you can use to reinvest in your business. Now coming back to reinvesting, a lot of people that start businesses don't think about reinvesting. Okay, they think about, let me just pay myself today, I'll be okay. Let me just pay myself today, I'll be okay. I saw a video, one hairstylist that started the salon in Sheffield. She announced a few days ago, I think it was last week. I don't know her personally, by the way, but she announced that she's now opened a second location in another city. Which I will talk about this when we do the hair desert talk. But the hair desert talk is not going to be a live class. It's just going to be a chat on the group chat, because I feel like over the next couple of months I'm going to get busier. So I may not have as much free time to doing the live class, but we're going to talk about it. So she found a city where they were a certain demographic of black people, but they did not have a salon or a service provider or enough service providers that could cater to them. So she went there. That's opportunity hunting. And I really love that for her. It made me very happy. But the fact that she could open a second branch means that she's been reinvesting in her business. Okay, so she kept money. Reinvesting could look in different ways. So reinvesting could look like buying a better quality hair dryer. Instead of buying one of those cheap ones from TikTok, you can decide to buy a Dyson. I'm not promoting Dyson. This is not an ad. I'm just saying this now. I'm just giving an example. Having quality equipment. You can decide to go back, and your business will pay for your education to improve your skill. So let me give an example. If you want to add another skill to your portfolio as a hairstylist, maybe you want to go and learn how to do Q-tips, right? And it costs £800. Instead of you now paying it from your salary, your business can pay it and call it training. Okay, and that's because you've reinvested in your business. You're investing in yourself through your business. Okay, you can buy new products, and then you can also invest in better client experience. So maybe it could start from even what your salon smells like, the kind of music. Maybe you installed a better sound, what's it called, the stereo thing. You've installed a better stereo. You've installed maybe TVs in the mirrors, whatever it is that you feel would work for your specific business. I'm just giving an example. This is what reinvesting in your business looks like. So the clients come back and they see, her prices are increasing, but the last time I came, she didn't have these little TVs. Now she does. The last time I came, something changed. The salon smells a lot nicer. The air vent is now this. There's now an air conditioning system, especially when it's summer. All of that's you investing in your business, and it gives your clients reason to pay you more because you have something you're showing them that is happening. Okay, when the last time I came, this was when I asked her about this style. She told me she didn't know how to do it, but now she has gone to go and pay to learn how to do it. She has gone for an upgrade class. She has gone to go and learn how to install the installation a lot more. She has gone to go and whatever it is. Okay, you are improving, and that's what reinvesting in your business looks like. So build your revenue target. Build your revenue target, set out your desired salary, set out your business expenditure, make tax provisions. Don't worry about writing all the notes. I'm going to send, if I'm going to make this into a slide and send it, or I will re-record this and it will be made available to you guys. Okay? And then just plan it all out. Plan out your business savings and plan out how much revenue in total you require in order to meet up with savings, tax, expenditure, desired salary, and then contingency plan, like your emergency funds plan. This is a controversial topic, especially this one I'm moving on to now is a controversial topic. And if you guys have any thoughts on it, please unmute and share it. Do you guys pay yourself hourly in your business? Like when you're charging your services, you pay yourself hourly, or how do you go about it in your hair salon businesses? Does anybody want to unmute?
I just do a monthly pay of like the same monthly pay every month.
Okay. Lami, you wanted to say something?
Hi. So yes, I charge myself hourly.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Yeah. Do you know why I asked? Because a few days ago I had a conversation with a hairstylist and she asked about payments and whether it should be hourly or monthly. And the same way I would respond to anybody and everybody. It depends on your business model. And what do I mean by your business model? How your business is structured. So somebody could be a home-based stylist. Another person could be operating a salon, which means they now have a team. Another person could be a mobile hairstylist. So it could be different. Now, hourly could work better for a mobile hairstylist if they want to get more money, right? But it depends on, after they've sat down and done the calculations, they will now know, okay, this is what I actually need to get. So what I just usually advise is you tracking how many hours you work in your business every month, like how many hours you have to show up in order for your business to hit that revenue target. This is not for you to go and do hourly or no hourly pay, but in order for you to know, okay, every day for the past few weeks or for the past 4 weeks, I went to the shop or if you physically go to your salon, I went to the shop at 7 and I left by 5 or 6 or 7. And at the end of the month, I left with 6,000, I left with 7,000, I left with 8,000. So if you're the only person, or if you're working with a team, you times the other 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, depending on how big your team is, right? And then you're able to like track, okay, this is how much physical time is going into making this amount of money. Do you know why this is important? So when you want to scale, when you want to open a second, third, fourth branch, you are now aware this is how much time we use to serve this number of clients in order for us to generate this amount of money. Let me give an example. I have two tech startups. So most of you know KB Matrix. I have another one in the US. And I was speaking to an investor, and the investor asked me, okay, so how much time have you spent in the business this week that's generated the amount of money you generated in the business? And that was when it got to me that, oh, wait, you actually have to calculate that. And he told me that he understands that this is a completely new industry for me, but I need to be able to quantify it in order for me to say, okay, if I'm going to bring on 2, 3, 4, 5 people to do exactly what I'm doing, which means scaling, which means increasing our business capacity, and they spend this same amount of time I'm spending, it means that the business should now be bringing 2, 3, 4, 5x what I'm bringing. Okay, that's how you look at it, and it sort of gives you like a rough idea. Remember, this is not perfection, but it gives you a rough idea. If tracking your pricing and doing all these pricing calculations and all of that was not a thing, nobody will ask you for financial projections if you're going to take a loan, or if you're applying for any serious applications that have to do with them evaluating your business. That financial projections is what we're doing in this class. Okay, you understanding your numbers. So when you understand your numbers, then you now know steps you can take as a business owner. Remove yourself from just standing and braiding hair for a second. Think of, okay, I want to grow wealth. So you need to know that your business does not exist for just existing sake. Your business exists to pay you and pay others. If you want the business to pay only you, that's fine. Okay, depending on how you want your growth level or what you can handle in terms of capacity. So after this class, we're going to share the first things first. Jess, please write it in my DM just in case I forget. I do have another meeting by 7:30. So I will not forget, but just give me a note. So I'll try to sort it out this night. I will send over the tracker, so you can have at least I'll do it for this next 6 months, right? And it will be like a live Excel sheet where you can track how much your expenditure, your business expenditure, your revenue, your cost, your this and that, so that you can start getting to know your business. I want you guys to start thinking of your business as your talking stage. Perfect. Start getting to know your business, start getting to know your numbers, because in the event that maybe you want to expand, but you don't even want to use money from your business to expand, if you're speaking to an investor, or a prospective investor, if you're talking, I was able to do this in this amount of time, I was able to, with this amount of hours, we had this clients coming, we were able to spend this amount of marketing, the person will be 10 times more willing to give you money than you just saying, we've been open for the past 2 years. So open how? Are you operating at a loss? Are you operating at a profit? Can you afford to pay yourself? You don't know. Okay, so you need to get to know your business like a talking stage. Whatever stage your business is at now, over time, this is like a repeat. There's a repeat exercise. It doesn't have to happen every day, but if you can try to develop the habit of doing it monthly, or at least every quarter of the year, so okay, you're able to track your business performance. Now let me touch on this, because I do know that numbers give people anxiety, and not every one of us, I'm not. Surprisingly, I as a child I used to be a maths genius. Then the second I did law, I automatically hated numbers, right? So when it came to my solicitor's qualification and they were like, calculate taxes, I was like, you guys hate me. But yeah, we thank God we passed, that we're surviving. So I had to retrain myself to get to know business numbers, and to be able to off the top of my head, here's what gross monthly value is, this one, the other one is. So I need you guys to actually take that time to learn it. But I'm going to say this, for those of you that are already using KB Matrix, you would know that KB Matrix has an analytics table on the app. So KB Matrix is able to tell you your gross income, is able to tell you different things, is able to tell you how well you're handling your client retention. We're also now, over the next couple of months, going to make the client retention system a lot more detailed, so stylists don't have to DM lose clients. I took booking on WhatsApp, I took booking on Instagram, I took another booking on this thing, and then when they ask you where did those clients go, you don't know where they went. So with KB Matrix, when the bookings are all in one place, you can directly send your offers to clients, you can message your clients directly on the app, in bulk and all of that. We're going to release that over the next couple of weeks after we release the version 2 this month. So I just want you to know, if maths is not really your strong suit, add KB Matrix to your bookings tool, because we will help you track that. So now it's something that you just open the app, which is why I said technology is here to help us before we all perish, please. Okay, you open the app, you can see your analytics, you can see, okay, this week you had 15 clients. How many came back? How many were old clients? Okay, so you can see your client retention rate. So you're able to set your client retention targets. You know what? It's 2% now, but by next week I want it to increase to 10%. By next week I want it to increase to 15 and 20 and 25. So you're able to start actively, when you get to know the numbers, when you get to see your business as something you're working with, okay, your colleague basically, then you will now be making strategic decisions. What they are doing on TikTok will not faze you, because you know what you are doing behind the scenes. You're working with, I want to build wealth for myself and my family, and maybe build something that exists outside of yourself and will grow bigger than you after we are here and gone. That's my own goal. I want people to say, this girl broke barriers, or even as it was not in her capacity to do initially, she found a way. Okay, so and then because of what she did, we're able to now do this. Although even if what I did is not what people are using in the next 100 years, that's fine. But they'll say, oh, what she did was a stepping stone for this to now happen. I'm okay with that. So I'm going to share the practical worksheet where you guys write out your salary goal. It could be realistic based off what you have as of today, but also what you want to have for within the next 3 months. Remember, the tracker I'm going to share is going to have 3 to 6 months, but basically you just need to track for the next 3 months in order for you to get to know where you're at with your business and set a realistic goal for the rest of the year, right? Then track your current business expenditure. Then how much from what your your profit is, how much are you willing to put out? If you can make at least 15 to 20% of your profit, not revenue, and save it in your tax pot, that will be perfect. That way you know that the money will cover your tax, whatever tax bill that comes. Okay? Then your emergency savings. Have like an emergency savings. If it's 200, 300, 400 pounds, have it. So write it down. This is all like you just writing it down, mapping it out, and then having like this is what I want to work towards in my business. Yeah. And then what are the next things you want to reinvest? I gave you a list of things you want to reinvest into your business. So it could be physical equipment. It could be your trainings for you and your staff. It could be improving your business environment, maybe where the customer service experience. Okay. It could be, building improving your client retention skills or equipment. Let's say, you want to now use a better booking tool for your client retention. Here's how you do it. Okay. But remember that KB Matrix would help you with at least, as of today, 70% of this. And as we continue to improve the app, because the app is currently 6 months plus, but this version 2 is coming out this month. We've not officially announced the dates, but the software team and the testers are testing and making sure that everything is smooth. Now, I want to say there's a lot of you that experienced the first version of the app. You guys did amazing for us. I know it was a bit frustrating, the issues you experienced, but it gave us a lot more insight into what you experience on a daily basis and how to build the app to work around what you're experiencing. So if you have a team of 2, 4, 5, 6, KB Matrix caters to adding your team on the platform, so clients can book specific team members and all of that, and this is how much each of your team members have brought in as revenue into the business as well. It also helps. So if you guys want to unmute and share any of your anything that I talked about from today's session that was enlightening, or something you learned in the past that you find that is related to what I've just spoken about, or something maybe you're already working on this and how you're working on it, I would really appreciate if you can share it with us before we wrap up this session.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the wealth of information. This is my first time joining. Honestly, I didn't think you would go into this much detail. There are some things that you mentioned that I feel added onto the knowledge I already have, and there's some things that I didn't even know at all. I'm particularly keen on the part where you mentioned about investment and basically being, I think, you mentioned another class coming soon as well. I'd really like to join that. I've actually reached out to a few of my stylists who are interested as well, and they said they would like to join the group.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information that you definitely touched on that is very, very good, particularly about taxes, HMRC, and then basically having like an emergency fund as well. I think most people, like me, to be honest, already have like the idea of, we need to save aside and for tax and so on, but the emergency fund makes a lot of sense even if you have cash flow, because it's basically like a buffer for the business. It's like a backup plan for the business. So thank you very much for sharing that. I'll definitely look more into doing that for myself.
I'm really happy to hear that. If you know any hairstylist that would greatly benefit from all this, the sessions and all of that, please feel free to send the group link. Please reshare the group link. Jess is our community manager. I think she introduced herself to you earlier on when you joined, so she can share the group link with you, and you can share it to them, as many people as can join. My major goal behind all of this is because it pains me when I see the I'm gonna call it rubbish, right? The rubbish going on TikTok, and how the industry, basically the hairstyling industry, is being put down a lot more, when there's a lot more work. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and by a lot of work, I don't mean just standing behind the chair. And then I saw that why a lot of hairstylists question their value is because they think all they do in their business is standing behind the chair. So even before we launched KB Matrix, we started doing these webinars, right? Because we want to impact knowledge. We want you guys to start thinking as CEOs. We want you guys to start seeing your business as outside of yourself, and that way you can build something that is more impactful, collaborate, grow, support each other, help each other learn. If you've made any mistakes and you think somebody else could learn from it, all of that stuff, that's part of why the Business of Hairstyling group exists, because we want to keep impacting knowledge. And I believe that in the next 6 to 12 months, the group is going to be 10 times bigger than this in terms of, and the impact as well. The impact is my main goal. The impact to have a lot more. So I'm really glad that today's session was enlightening for you. I'm going to send, once I upload the pricing 101 class that I just re-recorded, because most times I try to do the live classes, but I'm doing 10 million things, and I don't believe in burnout, so I pace myself when I'm working, so that my brain is still, and my creativity is still there. I'm going to upload it and share it with you, so that you can have access to that and our previous webinars as well. It's stuff that you can listen to while you're working or when you're relaxing, so you just keep taking on the knowledge. And I'm looking forward to seeing every one of you in our next class. Jess is going to share the task for this week after. It's just something very simple. I'm going to quickly say it, okay? The task for this week is to find out which of your service is your money-making service, and which of your service is your, either it's okay, or is actually making your business lose money. I feel like it's a hard task, but it's not too complex, right? Alongside you tracking, which I'm going to share the tracker with you guys at least in the next hour or two, once I round up my meeting. But the task is I'm saying task is always very confusing. Sorry, I speak with my tongue. So in case it sounds a bit confusing, it's something that I've had to train myself as a child to not sound like that initially, but sometimes the S and K and X confuses me sometimes. So thank you so much for joining this session. I would love if you guys just drop a feedback on the group, or maybe just a one-liner, so others can see the value that the session is bringing and actually make out time to invest. That making out time, this is part of investing in your business. You attending this session and getting more enlightenment to go back and apply in your business. So I'm gonna stop yapping now, and thank you so much, guys. Have a good evening. Thank you, Jess, for reminding everyone to join. Have a good evening, everybody.